Do you guys have big feelings about cursive writing? I feel like I don't, but then I saw a comment where somebody was very mad that the youths don't use cursive anymore. And then I was thinking about why we even have cursive. And then I was trying to figure out if every written language has their own version of cursive. It turns out basically, yeah, any writing system that uses Latin obviously has cursive like we do, but even languages that are character-based have their own like script version. For example, this is essentially the script version of this, which this is very fancy and cool. But the reason we even have cursive in the first place is because of the tools we use to write. So if you're using a quill and ink, if you're lifting a quill, it's dripping or the ink is drying and your quill is breaking. So it made writing more efficient to connect all of our characters. And then we basically made it into etiquette. So by the 19th century, it's considered a mark of good education and character. And then they start teaching manuscript lettering, disconnected, in the 20s, which was controversial. Around this time, the typewriter is becoming more popular, which renders script basically useless because you can communicate by typing something for business communications. And then the tools we use improve because the ballpoint pen is invented, which doesn't drip when you lift it up between letters, and they became widely available. So then less people were using cursive because they didn't have to. And bam, enter computers. And studies about whether or not we should continue to use cursive are mixed. This one says they consistently fail to find any real advantage of cursive, that there's no conclusive evidence that there's a benefit for your cognition, for how fast it is. This 2013 French study looked at Canadian and French students, and the ones who wrote in cursive were actually slower. But this says it enhances your fine motor skills, it helps develop hand-eye coordination and dexterity, and that it can be good for your brain development, which I feel like is probably true. Then I saw some anecdotal evidence, which was compelling, from teachers showing their students documents that were in cursive and they couldn't read the documents. And then I was like, we have to teach the children cursive. So now I feel like I have sort of medium feelings about cursive. Tell me your thoughts, but also no fighting.